Okay. So when Margaret asked me to do a presentation for her Club Growth Corner, at the time I said yes because but I was very busy, and she said, "What's your topic?" And the topic that came to mind was a season for growth. And why did that topic come to mind? I was thinking about farmers, and some of you have heard this term about a tell, um, but what inspired that thought of farmers? And then I'm going to talk about this, and you're going to say what the rest of the presentation perhaps doesn't have anything to do with farmers, but I was thinking about farmers, and why I was thinking about farmers was because 2 years ago, actually, it was February 2 years ago, when I visited Saskatchewan, and on my way, I got stuck in a ditch. I'm not going to tell a long version of the story because many of you have heard the story before, but I was driving on the back roads into Saskatchewan, and I got stuck. That's not my car, but it's a picture of a car. That's how I was. My car went down in the ditch, and it was close to dusk. It was close to the end of the evening, and I was pretty fortunate because as I was driving for long periods without seeing any vehicles. So I was very fortunate that when I got stuck in the ditch, two farmers came along, and one of them had a tractor. They went back home and got a tractor like this and put on some chains and pulled me out. So there's a special place in my heart for farmers now. And so at the time when Linda asked me, I started preparing a presentation about, the what is needed for growing crops and linking it to Toastmasters. But in the spirit of full disclosure, I had lots of changes at work. So that presentation is still in play. But I wanted to say the inspiration for a season for growth came from those farmers. And the information that I had tonight was like we just went through what you want to learn. Um, but I had some information here, which some of you might have seen before we uh, how to rebuild, what some of the things to do to help rebuild and grow clubs. So this has a 3-month plan for how you can do a certain set of actions to say assess your club and do some marketing and do a bunch of things that will help to get your club growing. Now, I'm not going to go through that full presentation. I think what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to focus on the marketing. One side of it has to do with the marketing. I think from what I've heard tonight, looking at some of the marketing, I think it was Linda who mentioned, and I think maybe Linda and Rafina mentioned how to market, how to get people coming to the clubs. So I think of what I'm going to do for the benefit of tonight is to spend some time talking to the marketing, and then finishing up with just having some discussions on some of the specific challenges that people mentioned. I think that will provide better value versus me going through a full presentation of a whole bunch of stuff that is still good, but I want to make sure that for the people that are made the effort to come out tonight, you're getting good value. Does that work for you? Okay, so in the overall 3-month plan that, and I did this presentation some time ago too, in this overall presentation that would talk to a 3-month plan that clubs can use for helping to rebuild or to grow their clubs. The first month would look at doing a club assessment. And as I said, I'm not going to dwell on this, but you would do things like look at what is the strong points of the club, where you need improvements, what type of members you're trying to get, and stuff like that. And then in month 2, you would do activities and other things to bring members in. So I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna focus on what you would do in the month two, the marketing stuff, and then we can have additional discussions on some of the questions that people raised. Any questions so far? So and again, I don't want to go through the full thing here, but again, if you're interested, the first for the a 3 month plan, the first month you spend assessing the club. For those who know about like doing moments of truth, that you do an assess, you get someone to come in and do an assessment, help the club to do an assessment of what's going well. You can assess your strengths and weaknesses, and you can do other set of stuff. But it's basically identifying what the needs of the clubs is and how what they're doing well, and it helps to figure out then how you're gonna, it will feed into your marketing in terms of how you're gonna market. And then the second month you do some marketing, perhaps an open house event, and then in the third month you would look at partnering with some organizations again towards helping to get membership. So I'm going to delve into the marketing, but does anyone have any question? And I'm kind of going because I know that for some of us on here, you in the past, you perhaps came to saw a presentation like this. So I don't want to dwell on the details, but does anyone have any questions on this like 3 month framework before I get into the marketing side? Arlene?
Richard, I can't see month 3 on my screen.
Is there anyone else not seeing month 3?
I can see all 3.
Is your screen, what is it called?
Okay,
Maximize?
now I've got it. Thanks.
Now you've got it. Okay. Yeah, does anyone else have any questions on this?
Nope.
Okay. Again, I'm not dwelling on month 1, so we're just for the benefit, and Sharon is from, I don't know if Sharon has seen anything like this yet. In month 1, when they do the assessment, they can do moments of truth, which is a Toastmasters Club survey device. You can look at doing a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, like what is the club strong at, what are the weaknesses, what are some of the opportunities that they can capitalize on, and what are some of the threats, like again, that's a part of the study for the strength of the club. And there are market assessment. These are, again, Toastmaster provides some assessment tools for the market. As I said, I'm not dwelling on the first month, but if you see anything here where you have a question, you can let me know, okay? Okay, so we'll get into month 2, which is the marketing aspects. So for marketing, let me just ask here, what are some of the things you think, what are some of the good, and I perhaps will direct this question to Linda, since Linda mentioned that her, one of her clubs, as one of your clubs that you just visited, Betterford, they had 8 guests and so forth. What are some of the marketing tips or some of the marketing things that you're seeing working for clubs? This is to Linda. And what else?
You repeat that again. I apologize.
What are some of the some of the positive things marketing wise that the clubs that you see having success are? What are some of the marketing successes that they're having? What are some of the things they're doing?
Certainly. Well, some of the things as a VP of membership, some of the things that I've been promoting there are some incentives within the club, and they're just like, okay, here's an idea and incentive for you to bring guests to the meeting. And for instance, we're having it just right through the months of February, March, and these are just little gifty things that we offer. It's getting your name into a draw, etc. Those seem to be it's not the answer to all, but it does help for some people because some people are prize oriented. So it does help. But just encouraging our members to, even at every meeting, say, it doesn't hurt to bring a guest. Just mention it and bring them. I think that's one of our missed opportunities is that word of mouth. Oops.
Okay. So marketing incentives, bring in guests, word of mouth. Does anybody else want to share any other marketing efforts that they see clubs doing that is successful?
All right. Are you pointing that at me again?
No,
Somebody else.
no. Well, some of the things that some clubs do is they go to there are several things that they can do to get the word out on their club, because really marketing, we want to create awareness of the club out in the community. So I know, I think Wetaskiwin club in Wetaskiwin, they publish, in the local papers, they put an ongoing ad for their club meetings here in Sherwood Park. And I go through the local papers here, I see for like Forward Thinker, and so there's another club out here that meets in the morning, but they have stuff like in the local papers. So for people in the community who are just going through the local papers, they'll see, hey, activities on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So that's one way. Some people do panel discussions where they bring people in from you can set up a panel discussion, or you can bring guests into your meeting who are from different industries, and you advertise it, and then people come to hear those people present to your club. You can do lunch and learns for those, maybe for some of the clubs that are, let's say, corporate club or lunchtime clubs. And some people go to do farmers market, like when the weather is better and you have farmers market, go out and promote their clubs. So there are some of these different ways to get your club promoted. When there are events out in public, say for example, I'm in the area of project management, and they have annual, they call PMI, project management conferences here in Edmonton. They have it down in Calgary side as well. I have seen Toastmasters like advertise, set up a booth, so you can look for events that are happening, and if you get a chance, that's another opportunity where you can promote your club. And then now in the online world as well, with social media, what is using? If I say Facebook, because you're old school, because Facebook is, but there is on social media, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, people are also using those means to promote their clubs. So I don't know, is there anything here that I've gone through that people are using, or you have seen using, or you have any comments? Rafina, I know, like you said, that you're having challenges to your clubs in terms of drawing in members. Do you think any of these are useful things that would work for your clubs?
First of all, we have to have the members who are invested in doing something about it. Before COVID, we had our building. We were where everybody was. Now the building is empty. People are not back at work, and if they're back at work, they don't want to spend their lunch hour at a Toastmasters meeting. So the whole culture has shifted. But before, we used to do just about everything to attract members, and we were thriving. It's just so different today.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us in our club are retired as well.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps that is an issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good feedback. In the first part of that I skipped over, we do a club assessment. So that's one of the things in the assessment. Toastmasters has these 6 groups of people that generally for different clubs, the membership usually falls within these groups. It's like one of them is like retirees, like people who are retired. One is like young professionals. So there are these different groups. So then they talk to, if you figure that these are the people that are primarily in your club, or these are the people you want to target, then it gives direction on, hey, so like in your club, if most of the people are retirees, maybe there are activities in your community like 55 plus activities. There's like lots of activities directed to the more senior part of our society now, where maybe through those interactions you can create awareness of the club to get additional people in that group. So there are different methods there. Colin, you have your hands up. Go ahead, Colin.
So I have a couple things I think I can say. One thing I want to say in general, and I think it's really interesting. I heard a stat a little while ago that before COVID, and so I don't know exactly how old the stat is, but it said before COVID, it took someone 7 times to hear about a product before they would buy into it. Now the stats are saying it's taking people up to 22 times or interactions before they'll buy into it. So from a marketing perspective, our clubs are having to do a lot more work to get those numbers up. And this is where we need the global kind of ideas that Linnell was talking about, but we also need to use social media to our advantage to get that interaction count up. And that, as Rafina was saying though, when you are stretched thin, how are you supposed to do all of these other events? And if you do have a group that is technologically challenged, or even to say your social media account isn't set up to par, it's a lot of effort. And there's some unfortunate stories coming out of very recently from Meta, that a lot of Facebook pages, and I know 2 Toastmasters clubs and another nonprofit in the last week that have been hacked. So we're further making our teams even more frustrated, and this ideas of what some other ideas. And so just kind of trying to tie everything together, but the biggest thing is the type of interactions have changed, and that's scary, but what do we do? So hopefully that kind of, maybe we can tie things together. Thanks for letting me speak.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a very good point. And I mean, if anybody has any feedback, they can let me know. I say one of the things that I'll say is, so marketing is creating awareness. And like when you mentioned a while ago being hacked, we were in one of my clubs, we had an online meeting going on, and we got hacked. Some people came in, like 7 people came in, and they started. We just had to end the call, right? I'm trying to not be long-winded about it, but it left a very unpleasant taste, for the club. So we had to be encouraging people in the club to exercise more caution in terms of, say, for putting up the links on different places. So as an example, we had a meetup. I think Sharon mentioned in one of the social media avenues we can use is a meetup page. Then you have to be careful to not put passwords or things, because people go and they see, and then you can get Zoom bombed or meeting bombed. So yeah, to what you said, Colin, yeah, people have had those experiences. What I've suggested here are some strategies for creating awareness. What I will say though, like if we had time for that full presentation that I had, one of the things that talks to your assessing your club is it's very important for your club program and the club experience to be high quality, such that when you get guests, that when you said, Colin, like before COVID, it was say 7 interaction points before someone would commit. Having a strong quality club experience helps to reduce that, if you want to say that, those interaction points. So I'll give 2 examples. Linda made one earlier on today. She went to visit Battlefords. They had 8 guests. And when they heard her speak, she didn't say this, but when they heard her speak or something they saw there that night influenced two of them to join the same night, right? I'll use one experience. One of my clubs is Northern Lights. I visit them maybe once or twice within every 2 months. I have lots of stuff to do. So whenever I go, I have a lot of Toastmaster mugs. I have things. So sometimes I'll just, or a book, I'll bring stuff and I'll do some type of fun raffle, for people in the meeting. So that I remember, I think it might have been in December, I went, and this guy, it was his first time coming. So I brought some Toastmasters pen. So for all the people who were coming the first time, they got a pen. And then I raffled a cup. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on it, but I'm saying, so it was his first time coming. He got a Toastmasters pen, and then he won the cup. He became a member of the next meeting, right? It's like the experience that they have if they're seeing people speak and they're saying, "Wow, I want to speak like that," or if they're seeing the meeting is well organized, or it's a fun environment, and that helps to convert them more quickly. So we're not talking tonight too much about the club experience, but that is a very important thing. There is marketing to get the guests in, but then there is that they need to feel connected to, okay, this will meet my needs, right? So hopefully I'm answering the question there, that there is a marketing side to get people, but the club itself needs to be strong. And so that is something to pay attention to as well. In order, it's a overall system, so to speak. Can I get a witness? Anybody? Does that make sense? So then someone else said, I think it was Linnell. So one of the challenges there is some people go to visit an online club, but they want to do they really want an in-person club experience. And some people go to the in-person club, but they want a hybrid or online experience, right? So that would be another example of they visit, but do they feel that the club experience is going to meet what they need? So that, again, becomes one of the things to address. To the specific item that you raised, Linnell, I was sending, because of my experience in the district, I knew some of the clubs that were meeting online. So our club, my main club, TM4PM, has not been meeting. And I'm very busy. I don't have the time right now to focus on helping rebuild the club. So when we get contacts, we say, hey, I send them Northern Lights, Southern Lights, and there's another one, right? Depending on where they're coming from. So then, in the first week in January, I went to visit Southern Lights, which is one of the strongest clubs in the district. And they said they have so many people coming that they have a 1 year, they have a waiting list. So people are coming to the club, but they have already like 28 people. So they can't take new people. So then that creates another issue, right? Because we're sending people who want to join a club to other clubs that are fully booked. So those are some other issues there. But I think for people like Linda, for people who are working with the district, I think it is a good thing if there is an inventory of the clubs that are meeting online, the clubs that are meeting hybrid, the clubs that are meeting, the different meeting formats. And then as people, I think it's one of the things that you can promote in the leadership training, to say to your public relations officers, for example, get it out to the clubs that if you get a guest and what they're looking for is not what your club offers, at least they have a reference to other clubs they can suggest. So it actually still brings the persons into the Toastmasters world. Make sense? So yeah, anyways. Any questions so far on that? I know kind of trying to make sure we touch on different people's needs here. Yes, Luna?
Could I just add on to that also that, yeah, when I first heard that Southern Lights has a waiting list, I was shocked because we have lots of clubs that are struggling to get to 8 members. So I think that's kind of part of my comment, is to really think globally about helping people join and kind of knowing what's going on in the district. And you have a good point, Richard, about making an inventory. I'm not sure do you have any ideas of what that might look like? Like who might maintain that? Who would update it? Where would we keep that information?
I know that if we were having for a general discussion, people from Toastmasters might say, hey, if you go onto the Toastmasters website, Toastmasters International, and look up clubs, they'll tell you whether the club meets online and stuff. But I think for a district level, if there's a resource where people can just click on and see clubs meeting in person, and they can see also like where the clubs are located and clubs that are hybrid. So it's basically time of. I think there's something like that, but I'm not sure. I've not gone to the district website for in a while, so I don't know. But it should what I think it should look like is it should be very accessible from as very like people shouldn't have to click many times from the landing page. It should be like clubs. And you click on club, you can see in-person clubs, online clubs, hybrid clubs. You click into that, and then you can see like Edmonton Northwest or Sherwood Park, so people can just it pops there quickly. So that's what my version of it would look like. So that's one suggestion. Like if that can be taken back to the district, I think would be something useful.
Thanks.
Richard, Ken Tanner had sent me something the other day. He wanted, because lots of the clubs are saying they're this and really they're that. So he sent me a thing saying, do you know about some of these clubs? So every club that I had visited, and I have visited way over half of all the clubs in D99 this year. I let him know how I went and visited them. And he's in the process of trying to put that information that I sent him into the clubs, because lots of them, if you go to find a club, they may, for example, say they're hybrid and they may be just on Zoom, or they may say they're in person and really they're hybrid. So hopefully he will get that done. I know he's busy, but he said he'll try to get that changed around.
Yeah, that would be good. I think
Probably
that would help.
Sorry. I was going to say it's probably a good plug and reminder for our area directors to be checking the TI information to make sure it's all accurate and that people's club websites are accurate, so we know what format people are meeting in.
Yeah. Because when I visited Southern Lights and they said, oh, they're the waiting list, I said, oh, I didn't know this. Then someone in the meeting told me that there were 2 other clubs. I think they said Y Club and Aim Cries, I think, or that are meeting in person. So yeah. So hopefully
as club secretary, I've taken on the job of updating on the TI website. Where is it? Under Club Central, Club Demographics. No, where is it? The fact that we're hybrid and when we meet. So that comes at the club level as well, Lynelle, doesn't it? As well as the area director. So if 2 parties are working on it, surely it can change in a week's time.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, your club has to keep up on it. I mean,
And if that isn't mentioned, at club training, club officer training, and if it isn't in the club leadership manual, then it gets lost, right?
Yeah. So for the people here who are serving on the district, I encourage you to have that discussion with the district leaders and see what can happen there. I think we have about 11 minutes, so let me just quickly go through some of the other information here about marketing. Again, to some of the challenges raised, remember there's a marketing side which is Rafina still on? There's a marketing side to get awareness, but there is, as I said, we're not covering that here, but you need to also make sure that to spend time to build the club quality, so that when you do get guests coming in, then there is more sticky or conversion of those people. So just some additional information here. So I'd mentioned newspaper. It might sound old, but it's still a mechanism that people use. Broadcast media, social media and blogs, local government. Sometimes you have the ability to post stuff in government centers and Chamber of Commerce, like Edmonton Chamber of Commerce. There's opportunity to go to their breakfast meetings and so forth. When I was district director, we went to some of those events, and people ask about Toastmasters. You can get information out in libraries. You can even have events, one-off events at libraries. If you're a corporate site or a corporate club, there is a company publications and websites. For corporate clubs, they can put information in, like in new employee information, like when you're orienting employees, in community packets, like when people send stuff out in the community, like in community papers or community marketing points. Like I've heard a mention of Saskatchewan University, I think I heard on here, or Saskatchewan. So there are, like, for universities and colleges, again, to promote stuff, community events, billboards. So you can see here a bunch of the different areas where there are opportunities to promote. It doesn't address the question if your club people are stretched thin and so forth, but at least the awareness of different media you can use. Go ahead, Arlene.
Thank you. What is the feedback? What is the fallout from the partnership between Toastmasters International and Rotary International? In Grand Prairie, I gave a talk to Rotary, and I don't think any Rotary members ever came to a meeting as a guest. What are our thoughts? Was that just on paper that we had that relationship?
I'll be transparent. I haven't kept up with that to know what the latest is. I know that when it came out, there was some confusion around it. So just like you expressed a while ago, but I have not been keeping up with the latest Toastmasters International news on it. So I can't comment in an educated way at this point. If anybody else has any information, feel free to link with Arlene and let her know. Is that okay, Arlene? Okay. Any questions on these different areas that you can use to promote Toastmasters? Apart from you have the issue of not having enough people to do the promotion. Rafina, any questions on this?
No, no questions. They're all really good ideas, like Leno wrote.
Okay, so Rafina, you can, for your club, if they want to have Mr. Awesome come out too.
Yes.
But we can talk offline. Like, but I don't know how your meetings are, but maybe getting some guest speaker, and they're connected to the government, right? It's AGLIB, right? So
it's sort of, we're at the Neil Crawford Center, which is a government center, but since we've gone online, we've done some promotions and everything in the buildings. I don't know how aware people are of us anymore. But yes, we'd love to have you come out.
All right. And okay, so those are some of the areas. And then the other two things I was going to say about the marketing, but I don't need to dwell on those things. It's to use Toastmasters branding. So if you're putting up stuff on Facebook or Meetup, or just remember to use the Toastmasters branding. and to, in your messages, into, like, if you're trying to encourage people to come out, to try to focus on the benefits of getting involved with Toastmasters, not the features. So an example would be, one of the benefits is, for example, is a flexibility that, you have multiple paths, 6, it's gone on to 6, but if you want to, you can say, hey, if you're looking to focus on becoming you can look into the benefit that they'll get. So it's setting, instead of talking, say we have table topics, you say, hey, when you're involved in Toastmasters for a while, you learn to think quickly on your feet. That helps you, like, in interviews and certain. So it's like promoting the benefits that you get. And this is both in marketing to get people in as well as when they come. So when they're in the meeting, for example, a good way to market the value is, for example, when you're introducing table topics, you always try to start by saying, why do we do table topics? What are the benefits? Or when you're talking to evaluations, what is the benefit of the feedback, or what is the benefit of say doing timing or grammar? You're improving your listening skills, so in the marketing is promoting the value, not just the features. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this because again, this is information on marketing, and just so we can just finish up, because I think we have about 5 minutes left in the hour. Any questions on what you saw there? Okay, so let me just quickly run. So Colin was looking for strategies and ideas. Do you think, was it for the concerns or the needs that you expressed at the start, Colin? Do you think those were addressed, or is there anything that you have left you'd like to hear addressed?
I think you addressed a lot of them. I think it's just going to come down to maybe the different conversations and ensuring that we're starting to build confidence in the leaders involved, and using the words of, said, use the benefits, or, hey, let's just put this in an ad in a newspaper and walk away for a week and see what happens. Try to, yeah. So I think it was very helpful.
Yeah, and remember, for your clubs, and I know this is a challenge if you don't have lots of members, but even if you have a few members, at the least, try to make your meeting organized and fun, at least just at a minimum, right? So that the experience when they come is pleasant, right? And they think there is value. Will you share your? I can do that, yes, but I'm going to share the entire thing. So, Linnell, do you think your concerns were addressed? I think we spoke to the ones that you mentioned. But
Thank you.
Good. Rafina, do you think your concerns were addressed?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the only thing is that your club needs to invite Mr. Awesome, but we'll talk. Arlene, do you think your needs are addressed?
I had the opportunity to be a judge for the of the year contests, or of the year submissions awards. And one of those awards, of course, is public relations. And let's say there was 5 entries. Is it possible to summarize the great efforts that those 5 clubs made in their role as PR, and share that in a newsletter on D99?
That is a fantastic idea.
That's lost information. That's
I
absolutely effort and imagination and time and energy that's now lost. And here we are looking for help. And someone has already invented it.
Perfect. If I was to give an award, at the risk of everybody else beating me up, if I was to give an award for one of the most wonderful ideas tonight, I would give that. I think that's a fantastic idea. Let's give Ali, we're gonna send you 50 monopoly dollars for that. I would actually go for to say for Margaret, I think I would suggest that you take that action to work with the district. I think that's a fantastic idea to collect the information from those the public relations submissions and summarize it and provide it. That's good value for the clubs in the district.
Yeah, there's places to put it. There is places to put it if you set it. And we do a monthly Club Growth Corner newsletter that gets sent out to everybody. And in it, at the bottom, is always put, if you have anything that you want to put into the newsletter, have it to us by the first weekend. And we're getting pretty slow on people sending things in.
So Margaret, we're hoping we'll take the action to discuss with the district leaders to get that information, and I'll also send a note to the past district directors group because they're involved with the year.
Yeah. If they send review. She sends something. Get it forward.
Linda, do you think your concerns were addressed, or was there anything outstanding from what you had?
No, I think you covered everything they need to do. And when you were talking about Southern Lights, I couldn't help but research their website. They've got an absolutely dynamic website. You have to check it out, everybody.
Yep. And then Sharon, I know you're off screen, but I know you had mentioned of general stuff about leadership and so. What do you think you had got value tonight? Is there any questions you have that has not been addressed tonight, Sharon? Not sure if she's still on.
One other thought about PR, which means equals membership growth, does it not? And that is that now I can't remember.
Yeah, let us know if it comes. Let us know if it comes back. I know we're at the end of time, and I don't want to keep that. Just let me know when you remember, Arlene.
Yeah, I'll send it to Margaret if it comes back to my. It was such a great idea, Linnell. You know how great ideas just. Yes, I'll send it to Margaret.
Another thing I think people got to start doing is when you go on Facebook or like Meetup, take and click or leave a comment, because that means a lot, and that takes and boosts it up too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before we finish, I'm going to hand back. So if there's nothing else, thanks for joining tonight. And while I hand back to Margaret to wrap up, let me see if I can pop the presentation and